You know that thing that English teachers are constantly saying, show, don't tell. This is straight up telling. It's making the story 10 times worse than it needs to be. Stop it! Hello and welcome to Connotation Points Video Snark. If you came here because you thought that this was an audiobook, please stick around and maybe learn some reading and listening comprehension skills. I read books and discuss what went wrong and how they can possibly be fixed. I'm continuing my read-through of Funny You Should Ask by Elissa Sussman. Not the first video, go check out the others, links are posted below. Chapter 4. Channy Lim meant that this interview is quickly reaching its natural conclusion. I had wanted this article to be something special, not just to impress my editors and get more work, though that was part of it. I wanted to impress myself, wanted to prove something. How? Even by Channy's own admission, she was asking Gabe puff-piece questions. She literally told the readers that she knew the answers to all of the questions she was asking him. I wanted to be the kind of writer that could make a subpar interview and spin it into gold. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you want to write good interviews, you first need to be a good interviewer. Channy is terrible and probably should be in literally any other line of work. However, Gabe isn't done interviewing Channy. He asks if she and Jeremy really broke up and then expresses how glad he is to hear it. Says that the things she wrote about Jeremy on her blog made Jeremy seem like a terrible person. Channy turns the table and tries to ask Gabe about Jacinda. Again, this entire thing is written so badly since we already know that Gabe and Jacinda weren't simply friends, as he keeps insisting, that they ended up married and subsequently divorced in the next 10 years. She's a friend, Gabe said. I tried to remember all the times I'd been photographed with a friend's hand resting on my ass while we stumbled out of a bar in Paris. I'd also never wound my arms around a friend's neck, pressing my face against his cheek, nor had I ever nibbled a friend's earlobe while sliding my hand into his shirt. To be fair, I legit don't know who would go around and photograph Channy or any of her friends, and if they did, literally nobody else in the world would care. The fact that I have to spell this out for Channy is baffling. Before Channy can press him, the waitress comes back with some water. This prompts Channy to look at the puppy and then ask Gabe if the dog will go with him when he starts filming James Bond. Asks if the reason why he bought the dog was to help stave off the loneliness of being a celebrity. Gabe agrees that the companionship angle is some of the reasons why he bought the dog. Another part of it is this list of things I'm going to do when I get famous that Gabe is well known to have. And it's not so much that I mind the thought of this list, it's the fact that Channy proceeds to sit there for several paragraphs and tell the readers about some of the things on the list. It's so freaking tedious. You know that thing that English teachers are constantly saying, show, don't tell. This is straight up telling. It's making the story 10 times worse than it needs to be. Stop it! Gabe tries to tell Channy about his upcoming trip to Italy with his family. She knows that any other reporter would jump on the chance for him to talk about himself, but instead she asks how he knew when it was time to start putting his celebrity bucket list into fruition. What does success look like to Gabe? Gabe sits back and thinks about this for a second. He then asks if she'd like to get out of there. She agrees. Bonus Chapter 5. This bonus chapter is another blog post from Channy. Please do not make me repeat her URL. Someone once said that choosing to be a writer was like choosing to be slapped in the face repeatedly. Was it Salinger who said it? Hemingway? No, it was a girl in my first year fiction workshop who came to class drunk on peach schnapps, tossed her short story at our teacher, threw up in a trash can, and walked out of class. Honestly, that kind of sums up the college experience. I really hope Stephen Sondheim doesn't read Blogger. Even ignoring how this comment aged like milk, seeing as how this book was published before Sondheim's death. But even before he passed away, I'm pretty sure Sondheim had better things to do than to read some, not even D-list, more like G-list reporter's personal blog. Anyway, this entire bonus chapter is literally nothing but a full page of Channy complaining about how much being a writer stinks. And I get it, but at the same time, nobody is forcing you to be in the writing world either. We haven't even hit the 5th regular chapter in this book, and Channy's constant whining is really starting to give me a headache. Chapter 5. They go look at the house mentioned in the interview at the start of the book. The estate agent says that there's 8 rooms, and Channy is blown away by the number, especially because Gabe would be living by himself. Why would he need 8 bedrooms? She looks at Gabe but can't tell what he's thinking. She makes a mental joke of him throwing a tantrum because he wanted a 9-bedroom place, but then quickly takes it back because she knows that he isn't like that. Gabe asks the agent if they can look around on their own, and they go to the kitchen. There, Gabe turns to Channy and asks what she thinks. She says that it's a beautiful house, but Gabe prompts her for the but. She asks him if he's going to move his family out here, but he insists that they would never. Besides that, his mom and sister have their bookstore. Channy then literally pauses their narration to explain to the readers about how she ordered some books from their store previously. They'd come with a handwritten thank you for ordering note and some recommendations. Channy had bought those too. And it's not so much that I hate this aside so much as the fact that the author decided that she was going to stop the flow simply to throw this at the readers. Gabe goes on to explain that he always stays in the apartment above the bookstore when he goes home, but he doesn't have any place that's actually his in LA. His agent encouraged him to actually buy a house there, so that's why he's house hunting. He goes on to say that this place is too big for his needs. When he comments that he likes the place he's been living in, Channy says that he should look for something like that instead, that this place is a McMansion and what Gabe needs is an actual home. However, Channy says this right as the agent comes back in. The agent doesn't exactly take it the right way when Gabe tells her that they're looking for something else. Channy drives him back to his rental. On the way there, Gabe comments about how pretty that the sunset is. As she pulls into the driveway, he invites her in for some coffee. She's foolishly like, I don't drink coffee. Girl, it's a euphemism. But he offers her tea instead, and the chapter ends before Channy can embarrass herself by telling him that she doesn't drink tea either. Bonus Chapter 6. This bonus chapter is an excerpt from a Vanity Fair interview of Gabe right before he did James Bond. The entire thing is basically exactly as Channy had commented about all of the other Gabe interviews. It's basically the same kind of regurgitated questions that even the readers already know about him. So I kind of understand why Channy hadn't exactly wanted to write yet another copy-pasted interview about him. He talks about his sister and growing up in Montana, about how much he loves his niece, about the bookstore his family owns, about how much he spoils his family now with lavish vacations to exotic locations. It is, as I said, nothing but copy-paste information. There's not much to say about this other than why. Why did the author feel the need to include this? Thanks for listening to my book Snark on YouTube. New videos are up every Monday, but stick around because I sometimes drop random videos on other days too. Just as a reminder, even if you can't financially support me, there are other ways to help me out. The first is watching this video as well as all my other videos. It's also important to like and subscribe. Finally, you can share this video with all of your friends so that they can help as well. If you're already caught up with all my videos, you can go to Tumblr for my main book Snarks, always free and updated every morning. And if you've already read all of my main Snarks, then you can find even more Snark on my Patreon. You can access it for $1 a month. Members also get early access to my main Tumblr Snark. Special thanks to Dawn, Phoebe, and Nikki for supporting me on Patreon already. If you want to hear your name in my video next week, either support me on Patreon or make a one-time donation. Do you like my Snark so much that you want me to Snark your rating? I do that too. For just $6 per chapter, I will tell you how awful that your rating is. But not to worry if you feel like you couldn't take the criticism. I also offer regular book editing as well, just $10 per chapter. You can contact me on any of my social media platforms if you have further questions. If you want to read some of the things that I've written, you can purchase my works on Amazon. I have a slew of erotic short stories and 2 full-length novels. I also frequently run flash sales on my stories, and if you don't follow me on any social media, you might want to do so just so you can know when I might be offering things for free. Links for everything will be posted below. See you next week, guys.